But again, I guess I judge travel differently. Like,
yes,
it takes me an hour to get anywhere fun. So,
so you say you can't have fun within your own state. That you admit it.
I mean, again, great state. Hey, you want to go tax-free shopping? But if I need to be in Philadelphia, that's an hour. Baltimore, that's like an hour.
You want to see a bunch of corporate headquarters? You know where to go.
Yeah, New York, 2 hours, or if I'm driving, an hour and a half.
All right.
So,
everybody okay if I go live now?
Yep.
Cool.
Elizabeth, if you right-click on your picture, you can change your name in your lower corner if you don't want to have your full name there. So,
I'm fine. Everyone knows who I am. I can't get away from it.
I'm just giving the heads up. So,
all right. Today's Thursday, right?
Today is Thursday.
I never remember.
It's the 10th.
All right, it's Thursday, September 10th. This is GameEnthus podcast, episode 416. I'm Aaron, one of the hosts here. Tiny is here.
Hey, I am here. And we're doing a show on a Thursday again.
I know, right? We did Saturdays and Sundays.
It's been a while. Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, I forgot what you look like during the week.
I was taller. At a bar. I went. So I essentially went to babysit / hang out with my sort of niece and nephew, like my friend's kids. And they both reacted. They're like, "We didn't realize you had red hair." And I'm like, I mean, yeah, I guess I haven't grown out a beard this long in a while. So, but yeah. Anyway, yes, I am still in full pandemic beard. So
I had pandemic hair for a while, but I had to finally, pretend like I cared about myself. So yeah. Anyway, enough about us. We have Elizabeth Hargrave here joining us. Welcome, Elizabeth.
Hello.
So I'm really glad to have you on the show. I thought like maybe write down all these questions for her, but then I thought, you know what? I'm better off just winging it. So I figured I'll just wing it. So I did do a little bit of homework, and I was looking on BGG. I looked your name up, and I looked up, I saw two games obviously which are associated with you, which makes perfect sense: Mariposas and Wingspan. And I saw a third called Tussie Mussy that I was not quite as familiar with.
Yeah.
I haven't heard. I mean, I've heard of it, but I haven't heard obviously not quite as much as Wingspan.
Yeah.
But...
So it's a little game. It's an 18 card wallet game. Do you guys know Button Shy?
Yep, I literally printed out
all they do
Sprawlopolis last night.
Yeah, exactly. So it's the same size as Sprawlopolis. And they did in 2018 for Gen Can't, for the people who couldn't go to Gen Con.
Shout out to Suzanne.
They did a design contest. And so in August of 2018, I had finished working on Wingspan, and it was like at the printer. And I was like, 18 cards. That sounds easy and fun after 170 birds. So I literally heard about the contest, designed Tussie Mussy in a month, and then submitted it and ended up co-winning the contest along with Corey Damey, who did Seasons of Rice at the same time, which has now also come out from Button Shy.
Look at you.
So yeah, and then it was available as a print and play for a little while, and then they kickstarted it last summer. And now you can just go on the Button Shy website and order it. It's a quick little very social I split you choose game where you're giving people flowers.
Mm-hmm.
And
I've done that.
It was kind of inspired by the concept of Victorian flower language, which was this fad where people decided that when you give people different flowers, each type of flower has a specific meaning.
Mm-hmm.
So you could construct a bouquet that meant something and sent a message. So that each card in it has the little Victorian meaning just as flavor text at the bottom of the card. But you're giving someone two cards, one face up and one face down,
mm-hmm.
and each one has literally scoring things on it, and so they have to decide whether to take the known card or the unknown card and give the other one to you. So you're looking at what other people have and do they want this? If they want this, should I give it to them face up? So they'll definitely take it because I really want the face down thing, and you get into a little bit of I know that you know that I want that. What's better for me here? I don't know. So yeah. that's Tussie Mussy.
All right.
Very cool.
So I guess for those who are not familiar with you and your background, you mind kind of telling us, like, Wingspan is huge, obviously, and you just launched your most recent game, but could you give us a little bit of like what led up to Wingspan, and then from then forward, if you don't mind.
Yeah, so Wingspan is the first game that I designed. It is not, the final version is nothing close to, well, it has a few things in common with my first draft, but it was a long process designing it and a lot of iterating. But I had been playing hobby board games for probably a decade before I started on Wingspan, and was really inspired to start designing because I was getting sick of the same themes always being in board games. Like my board game group at one point, we were like, no one's allowed to buy any more games about castles. We're tired of castles. So yeah, I just decided to try to make something about something that I care about. And I'm a birder and was really thinking a lot about all the economic systems in games and how they have some parallels in nature, and instead of currency you could have food and different things like that, and that became Wingspan.
Wow. So you said 170 birds. So how many birds could you rattle off nearly as many facts about that are on the cards out of 170? I'm just curious.
Like if you threw out names to me, could I tell you what it says on the bottom of their card?
Not everything, but like a little bit. Oh yeah, their wingspan is such and such centimeters.
Probably a lot of them. I can't even if you told me a bird, there are a good number of birds in Wingspan that if you said the name of it, I would be like, did that make it in? Because there were so many that I was going back and forth on the final list, and but yeah, I do hold random facts in my head quite a bit, because they're the things that make the birds fun, right? Like they all have these unique little things about them.
Yeah, unfortunately, I have to be completely honest. I do not own Wingspan. I want it. It's like the top of my list. I have played it several times. I played it on the official TTS.
Okay.
Yeah. I played the beta for the upcoming Steam version coming out. So I've played it. The thing is, I love it, but I love it. I'm not good at it though. I feel like every time I get the cards, I look around, everybody's like, you all got these wonderful engine building cards. Everybody but me is like, oh. But it's cool. It's just the chance. It's just what you get when you play.
Yeah, so. Yeah. And I think there's a certain amount of you have to figure out how to do your best with what you get dealt, and learn to pivot in the middle of the game instead of drawing and drawing and drawing because you hope you get a specific thing. Because out of 170 cards, you're never going to get the one specific bird that you're hoping to get. So you have to it's very much a tactical, what can I do with what I got kind of game.
Yeah, and also when you're looking at, the food, and you're hoping that somebody removes something so all of the same is left, so at least you get a chance to re-roll it. You're like, please take that. Please take that worm. And it's just, I love it. I love, there's so many facts about all the bird. It's just, I'm not really into birding, but I appreciate someone else's appreciation for it and how much detail is there. You have a lot of information about literal wingspans in the game, just where these birds tend to lay their eggs, all these things. It's just, and it's a very fun game. I need to keep playing it. I need to pick it up, but then I need to play. Other thing is, I play with people who are more hobbyist gamers, whereas my family, obviously I play most of the games I play with them because we're all here. Especially now, which is wonderful. But for some things that have more of a engine building kind of thing, I think I want to play a little more Splendor with them and then work my way up. But maybe not. I don't know. I shouldn't say that because I show them everything and they beat me. So what am I talking about? Almost everything.
So one of the things that we did with Wingspan last year, because we realized it was really gaining traction among birders who haven't necessarily gamed a lot, is we added this set of cards and this set of little instruction sheets.
I love that, by the way.
Yeah, and that was specifically to like get people up and going that aren't necessarily like used to heavier games, you know, that maybe have never even played Splendor. Not that Wingspan is particularly heavy, but if you haven't played even like a Splendor level engine builder,
It can look intimidating to
it's
somebody.
very possible that you will feel over your head trying to read the rules for Wingspan. But we've gotten really good feedback. Once you've played through the first 4 turns of the game with the sheets sort of walking you through how to do everything, you've seen most of the actions that you can take, and it sort of starts to click for people.
The first time I played
I was really happy that we were able to do that. I wish we had done it from the beginning.
The first time I played it was with an edition that included that. So my friend Kyle, his wife, were like, "Oh, just follow this." I was like, "This is fantastic." I said, "Every game should. Why is everybody doing this?" Because it really laid everything. I play engine builders. I get the mechanics, but just to give you like do these 4 things. By the time you get to the second round, you know exactly what to, you have a much clearer idea of what you can and can't do and why you're doing it.
Yep.
Or not doing it. So yeah, I like that. And it's funny. I've play tested so many things on TTS and Tabletopia this whole year. I mean, probably too many things. And one thing I often mention to people is, have you ever played Wingspan? You know how it comes with the thing is some people play the first edition, they don't know. Other ones like, oh yeah, I played it. Yeah, I like that. Just as advice, and also just player guides, stuff like that. It always help people because it's hard to remember everything.
Yeah.
I mean,
and we forget, and especially as designers, once you've played your own game like 100 times, you forget how hard it is to learn it. Yeah.
So, I see on online you have mariposas on here. You want to tell us a bit about your new game?
Yeah, so that just came out on August 28th, and it is a game about the migration of monarch butterflies. So it's got a map of the eastern U.S., a little hex grid, and you start out in Mexico with 1 monarch butterfly. Mm-hmm. And if you don't know the story of the butterflies, they can migrate. So that all of the monarchs in eastern North America spend the winter in this very small region of Mexico, like 12 or 14 mountainsides in Mexico, in this little region west of Mexico City, kind of. And so, but then they'll go as far north as Canada in the summer.
That's a pretty long distance.
So the game is about that. You start with 1 monarch butterfly in Mexico at the beginning of the game, and you play over spring, summer, and fall, 3 rounds. And you're getting your butterfly north and multiplying, collecting flowers off of the board to make more butterflies, and stopping at little way stations and getting other little bonuses. And then there are sort of goals that you're trying to achieve for each season. But the big goal at the end of fall is that your 4th generation butterflies have to make it back to Mexico for the winter.
Okay. Yeah, I looked at it and I saw some reviews and things for it, and that one is also on my list, and it's a fantastic looking game. It's the components and the you have the boxes and everything in there. It's very nice.
Yeah. And I really had fun with the art direction, because there have been a couple butterfly games that have come out in the last few years that have been very similar looking, of like the pretty butterfly on the white background. And you're talking about the fact that it's, Mexico plays this integral part. Like we found a Mexican artist, and the color scheme is very like, I don't know, those jewel tone, like bright, vibrant colors that you would see in a lot of Mexican art, and it makes it look really different, and it's fun. It's really beautiful.
Wow, flowers, butterflies, birds.
Yeah.
So I guess what's next is a medieval castle and talking trebuchets. that's the logical progression.
Castle games.
Still no castle games. Okay. Is that Carcassonne?
Yeah, Carcassonne has castles in it.
But
it was like a combination of Carcassonne and Castles of Mad King Ludwig and Citadels. It was like all the games we were playing had castles in them. I forget what else. There was at least one more. I'm forgetting. Oh, Castles of Burgundy.
Yeah, I have the card game, and I wish I had the dice game.
Oh, I haven't tried the dice game. I just love base Castles of Burgundy. I'm not as big a fan of the card game.
Yeah, I didn't. I tried to do it solo and was like, this is. It just wasn't clicking. Something about it just was not clicking for me.
But yeah, original Castles of Burgundy is definitely like a top 10 for me.
I have it digitally too. I should probably play it at some point. That might make sense. That goes for a lot of things I have digitally.
I was gonna say, like,
that's the list is, is whatever. It just goes on and on and on. All right. Anything else you wanted to share during this sort of anecdotal phase of the show, Elizabeth?
I mean, my other big news is that there was a huge lightning strike in my neighborhood. Ooh. So a friend's kids saw the tree catch on fire. It was like, when you hear the sound at the same time as the lightning, like 2 blocks from my house, and it totally fried my internet today. But I'm back up.
But you're here, and we appreciate it.
I'm here.
When you said when you said are you at a 55-minute wait for help, I'm like, yeah, maybe we should move it. But I'm glad that you're able to recover. That's good.
Yeah.
And then when I hear, I don't know what would happen. Like everything would just write a book. I don't know. Go do something. Use your cell phone. I don't know.
Right. That's what I did for a lot of the day. That, and I was actually cleaning data for all the bird data for the next Wingspan expansion. I had downloaded a bunch of stuff, and I've been going through it. So.
Okay. Have you announced what the name of it is, or the region the birds are going to be from?
So there's one coming out in December that will be Oceania. So that's like New Zealand, Australia, that part of the world. Okay. So that is announced and done and at the printer, and it'll be out in hopefully December.
Okay.
And now I am looking. So we're going by continent. So the ones that are left, we haven't said what order we're doing them in, but Asia, Africa, Latin America.
There's a lot of birds.
Maybe Antarctica. I haven't committed yet. I got to figure out whether that works or not.
I'm wondering about the variety.
Squeeze them in with Africa and South America.
I'm wondering, what is the variety like of birds? I don't know.
Yeah, there are a lot of water birds. You would have a problem with variety across the 3 habitats, I think, if I did one just with Antarctica. That's my concern.
Well, it's a very blessed game, so people are probably like, you know what? Yeah, I'll get it anyway. It doesn't matter. It's fine.
The pro of Antarctica is, of course, the penguins.
True.
So. But they do, a lot of the same penguins also end up in southern Africa and southern Latin America. So that's all figured out.
Well, yeah. People like penguins, though, quite a bit. So
people like the penguins.
They really do. Yeah.
Yeah. There are penguins in Australia. There might be one in the expansion this winter.
Sense, yeah.
Okay. I don't normally associate penguins in Australia.
No, but Southern Hemisphere, they've got them.
They do travel. All right. Okay, I see somebody celebrated their birthday recently as well.
Oh, yeah, my husband just had his 50th birthday. So we had a distant birthday party on Tuesday night, which is like fun and sad at the same time.
Yeah.
All the pictures of him, like he had to snuff out the candles on the cake because you don't want to blow on the cake, right?
No, or pick up each one individually.
And then it's just like, it's just him in the yard, with the cake in all the pictures. It doesn't look like a party. But, but our friends were there. It was nice.
Yeah, we've done the Zoom birthday for my 14-year-old, and we just did the ride by birthday for the 11-year-old, where we just set everything up in the front yard. Nice. People will come by and take pictures. That's fun. She made she's in a Gudetama, so she made a Gudetama frame. Her older sister made that for her, and it was fun. You do the best you can do.
Right, exactly.
You make it as special as you can, because of course, if your birthday's in the winter like mine, then I don't know what that means. So
yeah, mine too.
Yeah, although I don't foresee people I know riding by the house just waving, so it's it's fine. Did you wave to me?
I know we've been talking about like, can we get one of those space heaters like all the restaurants have, so that we can keep hanging out outside all winter?
Yeah, the appeal of dining outside in mid-November. This steak is delicious, but it's cold already. I don't know. Put it on the heater, So, what I'm going to say is going to sound a little crazy. About 10 o'clock this morning. Well, a couple minutes before 10, I'm preparing for a 10 o'clock meeting. My wife is here. She's doing her thing. The kids are doing their distance learning. Knock on the door. A family member had surprised us with a visit. It was like, what are you doing?
On a Thursday?
On an idle Thursday. Yeah. Who was out there? I'm just like, what is, I don't know, who would just stop? I'm like, no, there's a car in the driveway. You expect anybody? No. I'm like, they're still knocking. I'm like, so open the door. I'm like, hey.
Wow.
They're like, surprise. I'm like, yeah, it's a surprise. All right. It was good to see them. It was just kind of like.
But it's a Thursday.
Yeah.
At 10 a.m.
At 10 a.m. I'm just like, what are you doing?
I don't have anything to do during the pandemic. You must not either.
That's what that feels like. Yes.
Yeah, they are retired. So yeah, but it, like I said, nice to see them. Wow.
Oh yeah, this isn't a judgment on. This maybe on the arrival time.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I don't think I've popped over really at anyone because you're not really coming in.
Yeah.
At least not for long, if at all. It's kind of like you get the awkward the door's open, the cat's gonna get out, but what are we doing here? So, but it is what it is.
Plan? Gotcha.
Yeah. Oh, tomorrow. Elizabeth, I don't know. Do you know? I can't think of her name. Anna Maria from.
Yeah.
Thurs? Yes, they're doing Shufflepalooza.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, and she asked me if I would host a game for her. So I'm going to host a game of cartographers.
Oh, awesome.
On Tabletopia. So
I was gonna say, yeah, we played that for.
And you loved every minute of it, didn't you?
Yeah, I have their whole schedule up on. I've been meaning to sign up for a game. I haven't yet. So maybe I'll find cartographers.
Yeah, I think it's Friday at 8 or 8:30.
Okay.
So, yeah, you'll recognize my voice. I'll sound just like this, except it'll be more of a Friday kind of twinge to it. Friday. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And I've been watching. Have you watched The Boys on Amazon?
I haven't seen it.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I know you do. I was asking Elizabeth. She watched. I know you watch it. You've been talking about it for a year.
Yeah,
it's
a superhero show. So
it's a superhero show about basically like a corporation. Well, superheroes are kind of everywhere, but a corporation has branded these 7 superheroes as movies and merchandise, and
they're like a parallel to the Justice League. There's a Superman and a Wonder Woman and that kind of stuff.
Okay.
But what if superheroes were very bad at their jobs?
Horrible people, awful people.
Yeah.
So.
And what if they were owned by a corporation essentially?
Gotcha.
And the Boys, at least in the comic, are a CIA group that's supposed to keep the superheroes in check.
But they have no powers though, so they find ways. Well,
that's the weird thing about in the comics they all have. So there's a serum essentially they give the superheroes are born with it in it called V. In the comics, Compound V. The Boys do take it, like the group takes it, so that they can at least have some resilience versus.
And keep up.
Because otherwise you're fighting Superman. And you're a 90-pound English guy.
Although it's funny that one of the boys is clearly not a boy. So why is the group called the Boys?
Literally, her name is the girl.
They don't give her a name the whole series?
No.
Why?
Because you don't know.
Oh, she also can't really communicate with them, can she?
Well, so you haven't watched a third episode.
No, I did.
In the TV show, she has. Her and her brother developed this sort of sign language.
Yeah, they make
so
their own.
She is able to communicate because they want in a TV show they want to try to make this character less 2-dimensional. But in the comics, no, she said someone I think gives her a candy and she breaks their arm because like she is just there to be the enforcer.
But you can't communicate with her. Like you're attacking
No,
the wrong person. You got okay.
It's almost like
just kill everybody.
Weirdly enough, there's a guy called Frenchie, and he has in the comics. It's like he understands her body language, kind of I don't know, Black Bolt to Medusa style.
It does seem a little reductive though that she's ironically the most powerful, yet she doesn't get a name, and the group is called the Boys.
Yeah, it kind of seems like par for the course.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Especially with the person that made it, yes, I'm not shocked by this.
Oh,
so,
this is somebody who, if I look them up, I'll be mad that I did.
If you go and look at like Boom Comics and whatnot, they're more like, oh, we're edgy in the '90s and blah.
It's
and
2020,
like,
by the way.
Like, bro, a lot of your stuff does not need to. Anyway, yeah, the book is interesting and like it talks about a lot of things, but they also like people are reacting to the Amazon show and how like graphic violence and whatnot is in it.
Oh,
the comic
yes, there
is
is.
Like 10 times worse. And they go in situation like anyway. I don't want to say too much because it's only the second season of the TV show and they're only like 8 episodes of a season. So like there's a lot from the comics that I don't know if they're going to do or not. So it's like, do I spoil it or not? So, but yeah,
y'all are not convincing me that I need to watch
this show. I was waiting for you to say that. Like, no, I'm good.
It's yeah, it is a very acquired taste.
It is. Are you into any kind of superhero stuff or?
No.
Not really.
This is not the series for you.
That's cool. Hey,
that is okay. It is not the series for you. Anyway.
Even the excessive violence, Elizabeth. Come on, excessive violence. Come on.
Right, like a girl with no name.
I will tell you, there's no
called
castles.
The Boys plus excessive violence. Like,
she's like, this is. Let's move on.
It's 100% like a teenage boy fan. Like anyway.
Well, all of this stuff is actually. I mean, to be
fair, lot of it is. Yeah. Yes, a lot of it is. So, but again, no castles. I will say this.
No castles.
Not a single castle in The Boys so far.
All right.
See, there you go. Let's make that lemonade. Now I don't know how having lack of castles matches up against excessive violence, but I don't know. How do you weigh that? So. All right, that's it for me, Toddy. What's up with you?
I guess 2 real quick ones. I might actually mention this before during like pre-show stuff. I went over this weekend. My friend needed to go out. She asked, like, "Hey, can you hang out with the kids?" I was like, "No problem." Like 12 and 17, so like they don't need a babysitter, but
no,
hey, come over, hang out, that kind of thing. So I was over there, and of course, towards the end of the night, I played my favorite game, Not My Children. So I ordered them dessert.
My favorite game. They've been spoiled horribly.
I love that game.
Not my kids. So
I do not like that game. They come back to be crazy.
It was frozen yogurt, like it was fine. But
I'm glad you said frozen yogurt and not froyo. Thank you, sir. I appreciate you.
I don't think anyone said frozen yogurt or froyo that night. So anyway, that was Saturday last week. I go to order lunch today because it was just a busy day at work, so I didn't get to make something. And I get a notification from DoorDash. Hey, your order's arrived. You left at the door. I go to the door. It's not there. Then I remember the last time I used it. So I have to drive half an hour to go get my lunch.
Oh, yeah.
From a place that's like 15 minutes away.
They just drop it off and then, yeah.
Didn't even think. I literally looked at the door and then said, I got it sent there, didn't I? So I had to text them and be like, hey, guys, you're probably wondering why Popeyes just got left at your front door. Yeah. Do you want? And then I got reminded 2/3 of that household is vegetarian.
So the food is safe.
So you couldn't even just be like, just keep the Popeyes, I'll order again.
Exactly. I was like, I'll just, and my niece was like, yeah, no, I'm not going to eat it. I'm like, yeah, you're right.
No, I suppose you're not. Yeah.
So fun with DoorDash. The only other thing, and I guess I'll do a show recommendation real quick. I've been watching Star Trek Lower Decks, which is the animated Star Trek show on CBS All Access. So they don't sponsor us, so I'm not going to give them a plug.
Too late.
But I've been enjoying, like, it's a Trek comedy. It's a Star Trek comedy.
Star Trek is serious. It's not meant to be laughed at, right, Elizabeth? Right?
Yeah, that's been my experience of Star Trek so far. I have not watched Lower Decks.
So I'm
open to laughing at Star Trek.
That's the thing. Okay. Like it's a lot of the ridiculousness, and then every once in a while they also know, like, pretty much anyone that's paying the $10 a month to have CBS All Access probably like Star Trek. So of course they go for like
sharing their mother's account. Anyway, I'm sorry. I'm projecting.
They go for the real, like, oh, and this is what happens on Voyager, and you're like, I know what Voyager is. Anyway, I'm a real just easy target. So, but
I saw you coming.
Hey, they announced Discovery is coming out October 15th.
This is season 4, right? 3?
Season 3. This is they went into the future. So,
that is right.
And then they're also doing that spin-off show with Pike.
Why?
Because apparently people really liked him, and Rebecca Romaine Stamos as his first officer, and Spock with a beard, but like young Spock.
How they've had Spock do so much through time. I just always feel like, is it like a crutch? I don't know what to do. Let's have Spock go through time. All right, Brett, great. Because it's just Law and Order, right? I don't care.
They also brought Spock back from the dead. Like, that's literally a 2-movie arc.
That is. That is true.
So I mean, yes, Spock does a lot. So, but anyway, if you like Star Trek, you're probably either already watching this and already mad at it.
The season with Pike was fine. You know what? I'm going to watch it. So
exactly, like, and this one's cool. The cool thing about Discovery at 3rd season is because of what happened in the 2nd season, they're in like they're 3,000 years in the future, and like there's stuff going on, and in this timeline, the Federation is essentially, it looks like, broken down. So
is their ship going to be up to code when they get to the future?
Well, it sounds like most of the Federation has been destroyed, so yes, by default.
So they're going to fly around with a huge target on their collective backs. Come shoot us.
I mean, their ship is a giant target anyway. There's like big circle with another circle inside of it. Like, literally, the saucer section spins. Like, so,
are we dead? Oh yeah, we're dead.
It's a little too late to revise that one. So, but yeah. So those are the exciting stuff. I also, like, when I was hanging out with a 12 and 17-year-old. They just started showing me random stuff on Netflix, and I was like, I've never seen this, and nor do I ever.
I thought you were going to say TikTok, but okay.
No, there was no TikTok. I did get made fun of that I only have like a couple hundred snaps that I've ever used Snapchat with, and my niece.
You've used Snap before?
I am a 30-something-year-old man who's dating in the 2020. Yes, I have used Snapchat before.
I guess I never associated Snapchat with dating.
I mean, it's kind of like, oh man. Anyway, I have not gone to like the later apps, but yes, Snapchat would be one of those apps that comes up with dating.
I learned something today. I had no idea.
So, like, if you go on, like, if you're on OkCupid or one of those sites, you literally can like connect your Instagram and your Snapchat.
Well, yeah.
And your Spotify, so that they can see like what music you like.
Your spot.
Yes.
Are you going on a date? No, I saw her music. No. How could anyone like that? No, I'm not showing up.
Welcome to the hellscape that is dating in 2020. I don't know what to tell you.
It sounds like it. I'm sorry. It sounds like a nightmare. I'm sorry. You just can't just be you. You gotta. You like that album?
You have to formulate a brand, and
you kind of do. You know, like a marketing team.
Sounds like it. Oh my god.
I mean,
I saw honestly, your Instagram. You ate Hot Pockets? No, I'm sorry. We just can't. This stops tonight. Why can't
So what's your dating brand, Tiny? God! How do you put yourself forward to the world?
I mean, part of it's I've stopped like. Hey, do you want to talk about charity, video games, or food? Because that's what someone said all my Instagram is, which is honestly true.
Have you tried board games?
So they're
inherently
really
more social.
Hey, this is what I do with my free time. Like I'm not looking to change. So
nor should you. We like you the way you are.
This should be part of the expectation now. But yeah, man, it is. Yes. Anyway,
It's rough out there. I hear. Yeah.
hey, it's not. I mean, hey, you get out as much as you put in. So,
But when you add a COVID reality to all of that, how does
okay, so I mean, everyone who listens to this probably already knows I live in Delaware. Delaware probably a slower scene than like we have a friend in Boston that has recently come back onto the dating scene, and it seems more successful for him because literally just a larger population of people.
increase? Yeah, that's yeah.
So I mean, hey, it's that kind of, you do your thing if you can. Obviously, you want to be respectful and realize what you can and can't do in these times, and what is an acceptable risk to you and to your partner. So, but yeah, no, dating is a hellscape, and welcome to 2020.
It's a hellscape. Understood.
Understood. Yeah, I mean, this is a weird time to be dating. And then I guess the only other thing I'll mention, I did return I was dog sitting last week, and I'm so happy to not have a dog again, because that means I don't have to get up at 6:30 to walk a dog. So, but yes, so Bauer is home now. But anyway, Aaron, you want to move on?
Sure. Elizabeth, I see you have a list of games here. Why don't you tell us about the games you've been playing, or looking at, or wanting to play?
I mentioned the 50th birthday party socially distanced. So Just One has become one of my pandemic games of choice because you can play it socially distanced. So we did that in the dark.
What does it say? French fries. No? Okay.
Which involved, we were in the backyard. Whoever was it had to like walk out to the front yard so that we could all talk about what the word was.
Do you feel pressure like to get it right? Like I love the game, but I feel so much pressure. Just like if I get it wrong, I just feel bad. Like I don't know. Fork.
Yeah,
no, it's not fork.
Pretty friendly rules. Like we were playing with kids. The kids, if they don't get it on the first try, we're like, think a little harder. Try to include all of the clues.
Not just one. All of the little placards.
Did you notice this word over here?
There's always that one person.
We'll give people more than one guess.
That's good. Are you the person?
It's so much more satisfying if, like, on the second or third try, you do finally get the word.
True. Are you the person who often writes something that's completely out of left field, or is that like that's often me? But
yeah, well, and we were playing with a lot of. I think we had 10 people. We had more than the number of things in the box. Like some people were just writing on paper. 6
or 7.
So you had to. I do sometimes go in left field, especially with that bigger group, because you're so likely to cancel out.
Yeah. Or like we kind of play are we cheating? No, we kind of say things like, I'm going to write the obvious thing. Obvious. And everybody listen, they go, yeah. And they all write the exact same thing you write. And it's like, I just said.
They think the other word is obvious, so they don't write that, and they write the second, yeah.
And then you learn how.
And that's the whole game, right?
Yeah. You learn how relative the word obvious really is, because it could mean anything.
Right.
And then you're like, why did you write that down? Well, you said obvious. How was what I... yeah, it's a good time. Good times.
Yeah. Another a game that was newer to me that I just picked up. We went and visited my parents a couple weeks ago. We met halfway. They're down in Florida, and we rented a cabin in North Carolina and hung out for a week. My parents are not gamers. Like they can't wrap their heads around Wingspan. Not gamers, but
even with the 4-turn guide.
Yeah, no. My mom just no. They did catch on to mariposas a little better. My mom was making very good decisions by the end of mariposas.
That's promising.
Which mariposas is a little lighter, rules wise than Wingspan. But anyway, I took Illusion with me. Do you know this game? It's a little card game. Yeah.
I'm terrible at it.
So
my percentages are off.
They loved it. They have bought their own copy of it. They loved it.
It's at Target now.
Yeah, it's a great little game.
It is. So for Tiny, let's explain real quick. Illusion is like you have all these cards with all these images on them, and you keep laying out more and more. And then if somebody lays out like the fifth one, and it's your turn, and you don't think, and basically you have a color. Let's say it's red, and your whole thing is the cards are ideally supposed to be laid out with an increasing percentage of the colors selected. And if you think there's been a mistake in one of them, you can call someone out and say, no, I don't agree, and then flip over the two cards you think are wrong, and then if the person was right and you were wrong, they get a point, and then the other way around, or is that how it works?
Yeah, if you were correct that it was wrong, then you get the point, and if not, then the person right before you that put out the last card.
But these are like very abstract.
So the answers are on the back. The back of each card has the percentage of the face of the card that is each color.
But sometimes people, I've explained that before, and I thought people understood what I meant, but they really didn't. Yeah. I'm like, no, this means that you think that this color is a higher percentage of red than this color. Not that this one has more red, period. It's the percentage of the colors on the card itself. Right. Not the aggregate of all the cards. So,
well, no, but I think, they don't all add up to 100. Some cards have a lot more white on them than others.
A lot. Yeah. It's a tricky game. It's
tricky, and there are some that are truly optical illusions.
Yes, they are.
They really trip you up.
Yeah. But it's a good one for people who don't normally play, anybody really. As long as you can differentiate colors, then it's a game that it's literally a filler game in the sense of like you could play it for one round, takes 5 minutes, and you can play it for as many rounds as you want. And it's perfect that way too. It's a good one. Yeah. I'm not good at it, but it's a good one. My kids always win. I don't know.
And then so somehow it took until pandemic for me to realize this, but my husband always complains that I win games when we play. He's like, and so we've been playing a lot more co-ops during the pandemic. I went out of my way to buy some more co-ops. And one of the ones I got was Endangered.
Okay.
Which is on Kickstarter last year. So it's a co-op where there are different scenarios, and in the base game it comes with sea otters and tigers. So you play with one of those scenarios and you're saving these animals from extinction.
I've seen it, but I have not had a chance to play it.
Yeah, it's a cool little, very solid co-op.
Does it have as many facts about the individual animals as Wingspan, though?
No.
Does any game have as many facts?
I mean, it's only the whole game that you play is one species, but then all of the event cards that come up are like specific to that species in terms of like bad things that happen to. Is that right that they're all specific? I think so. The bad things that happen are sort of educational about what are the threats that this animal is facing. The good things that you can do are cards that sort of play across all the animals. Of like, I can raise money, or I can lobby, and then the whole thing is you're trying to like convince different countries to help protect the animals. So you're racing to both keep the population up and get enough little markers out on different countries that say like everyone's on board.
Okay. So how long has your husband been complaining about you winning too much that you finally were like, all right, fine, we'll play Pandemic, we'll play something co-op, we'll play Endangered?
Well, and he's not a huge fan of Pandemic, and especially we tried Pandemic Legacy, and he didn't love it. And so like it didn't click for me that co-ops were the way to go until we played Endangered actually, and that I was like, oh yeah. So now I got Forbidden Desert is the next one I'm going to try and get him to play.
Forbidden Desert. I haven't tried that one either.
I've played it solo once, and
that's the one in the tin, right? Forbidden Desert. Okay, I've seen that one. There's like a series of them. Forbidden Planet and
Forbidden Island, Forbidden Desert, Forbidden Sky.
Okay, I've seen those.
And they're sort of increasing complexity. Forbidden Island is really family weight. Like I played it with my friend's 6-year-olds, and I never need to play Forbidden Island again.
You're good.
The Forbidden Desert has some more sort of exploration to it. It's interesting. The play that I have done of it, I enjoyed very much.
Have you tried Pandemic, one of the dice games? I played Pandemic the Cure.
Yes.
I like that
Yeah,
one.
I did play that a while back now.
I played it once. I don't know why we didn't play it
Yeah.
again. It's fun. I have regular Pandemic. There's like so many Pandemics. I can't even keep up anymore.
Yeah.
There's a lot. I don't really have any legacy games though. So I don't know.
I think part of the challenge for us with Legacy was just like the scheduling of the games and everyone having time to play. Like if you want to play in a larger group than just with your spouse, which maybe is what we should have tried to do. The scheduling of Pandemic Legacy became this whole extra like weight
Gotcha.
to have to do that made it less enjoyable.
That's a game. That's a part of it. That's the meta game of life, figuring when to play it. There you go. See, you got to win that too.
Yeah.
I think of other good co-op games that are. I don't know. There's a lot of good co-op stuff though. I like co-op.
Yeah.
But I'm okay losing but the thing is I teach and I lose a lot. Like this is how you play this, and 20 minutes later, I think I won. I'm like, yeah, you did. Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
That's
the other game we've been playing with my. Oh, sorry, Tiny. What did you say?
No, I was just gonna say strong opinion there. Aaron likes co-op, so.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Sorry,
My husband has been beating me a lot at Truffleshuffle. That's one that I have not won yet. I don't think he's.
That one just came out from AEG, right?
It did, yeah, and they sent me a copy along with my copies of mariposas. So.
As well, they should. Okay, they know who you are.
Yeah.
It's funny. I don't know if you know him. You know Matt Hocker, Cool Games, composition. Yeah. So he's working on a game that's sort of focused on like chocolate. It's called Bittersweet. I think I can say that. I don't know. But he was saying like I played it. He did a demo for it on TTS with me last week. Loved it. 2-player game. You're drawing cards. It's really fun. He wanted something more bite-sized than composition. Have you played composition?
I have.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of composition.
I don't know if I played the final version. I play tested it a few times.
Oh, okay.
But I saw it being play tested more than I ever play tested it. We would often show up at the same events.
Oh, okay. So did you participate in the Break My Game stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
Every time it comes up, I'm always busy. I hate it. I'm just like, I want to play. It's always a bad Saturday for me when it comes up.
Yeah, I haven't been doing the online stuff as much because I just find Tabletop Simulator very mentally frustrating.
It's
just challenging. It's just I don't know.
Yeah. It's not the same.
Very frustrating for me.
But would you kind of go in knowing like, it's not the same.
It's super fiddly. I really just like dragging things around with my mouse. And I think for me, the biggest thing is like, for me, playtesting is so much about seeing people's reactions, like their facial expressions and their body language, and you're not getting any of that. And it's just, so you're like watching the pieces on the screen and maybe getting some audio feedback, maybe not. Mm-hmm. It's just weird. It's different from playing, like, I don't mind playing published games online so much. Like, I've been playing a lot in Board Game Arena and stuff with friends. And so I think it's a combination of, like, when I do that, I'm playing with someone that I know and I'm chatting, and that's nice. And with the playtesting, like, the playtesting groups that I have showed up to online lately, it's been just, like, with random people from New York or whatever. And so I don't get the camaraderie of, like, oh, hey, how's it going?
Yeah.
And then I can't see how people are reacting to the game. I don't know.
Yeah, the conversations you have that you have during TTS demos have to compensate for the fact that you're not seeing anything. So did you?
I haven't done it in the last month or two, so I don't know if people are like learning how to compensate. I'll have to check that.
I know on some of the Facebook groups and stuff, there's constantly people are often asking for people to review stuff on there. I'm like, I'll record the demo and make content out of it, but I can't say I'll review anything from it because it doesn't seem right to me. I can't review based on it. I don't know what the components are like. Yeah. It's you wouldn't want me to either, because when you're looking at in real life, it's something you can focus on something and pick it up, look at it. Having to drag over it can be a little more taxing. Yeah, that is for sure.
It's made me realize that for me, part of like one of my top things that I love about board games is like the tactile little pieces and moving things around. And
like one of my favorite games is Fantastic Factories. I love playing it on TTS, but I love playing my copy because I can roll those dice. And I had, like I said, I did play the. It is the official Wingspan on TTS. How did that work? Did you?
It's very pretty. I don't know. They worked it out with Stonemeyer. I didn't have anything to do with it.
Oh, okay.
It's very nice to have a publisher that can deal with a lot of.
You got that? Good. So how?
Yeah, and the Steam version that's about to come out,
Monster Couch,
also just went straight through Stonemeyer. Although with that one, they did reach out to me and ask if I would play test it early on, and then I was part of that weekend when they did all the beta testing when everyone was playing. I played a bunch then. I kind of got hooked on my own game again. It was really
that's a good sign,
cool.
right?
They did a really nice job.
Yeah, I played the beta and really liked it. There was a couple of UI things I had comments on, but yeah I'm looking forward to it.
Which I think is why it's coming out a little later than they had predicted. I think they've been trying to work in some of the UI stuff that people were asking for in terms of how you can see the board.
Because it's a game where you don't want things to be obstructed because you want to see the birds, you want to see the fat, you want to see everything as much as possible.
Well, and the thing I really noticed playing on Tabletop Simulator is it's one where like you need to be able to read the text on the individual cards, which is like a super zoomed in view, but then you also want to be able to like see the big picture of everything that's available. It's tough. It's a tough UI thing, which you just like do naturally with your focus when you have the physical copy in front of you.
And then we played with 6 people, which meant so everybody wasn't really all that great with TTS. So people were learning the game and learning TTS. So it took a little while.
Hours. So must have been like at least 3 hours, I'm guessing.
Yep. About 3.5.
Wow.
So.
Ouch.
But it was. I mean, it was fun. I went in knowing that it's going to take a little while.
Yeah.
But it was good to catch up with people.
I've also played Wingspan over Zoom with physical copies.
Oh, I guess you could do that, couldn't you? Yeah, you could do that.
Yeah. So if you sync up the dice tower, so like someone's dice tower becomes the master dice tower. Everyone always has like the dice behave as if you were all at one table. But then if you don't worry about actually matching up the bird cards, but every time someone takes a bird card out of the tray, everyone removes the bird card in that same slot so that it cycles.
Oh, okay.
So you're not worried about like they just drew the ibis, but my thing is the eagle or whatever, but that card goes away and you put a new one in. Just to keep the cards moving. And then, of course, you sync up the goal tiles. But that's pretty much, like, all you need to worry about is the dice.
What was the one bird that you had to have in the game? Like, no matter what, that bird had to be in it.
I mean, the one that inspired all of the powers on the cards started with the brown-headed cowbird. Because it's a nest parasite. It lays its eggs in other birds' nests, and I really wanted to.
That's a bold
figure out
move,
a way
isn't
to make
it?
that happen. It is.
You're gonna raise my kids.
Saves a lot of energy. Yeah,
I'll be over here.
I have seen. So brown-headed cowbird is like a kind of robin-sized bird, if you can picture that. I have seen like little birds, like half its size, feeding baby cowbirds. Right? Like they will lay their eggs in nests where the adult birds are going to be smaller than the baby cowbirds.
Huh.
That's interesting.
And the birds and fall for it. There's some people think there's some evidence that if birds can sometimes tell that a cowbird has laid an egg in their nest, and sometimes they'll throw it out of the nest. And there's some evidence that cowbirds will then like come and attack. They will know that has happened, and so the birds are like, I guess I'll just raise the cowbird because otherwise it's going to kill all of my babies.
So it's close enough to see. That's almost like...
Yeah, they're around.
You drop your baby off at someone else's house. You're going to raise my kid. Then you buy a house across the street. Yeah. And you just watch them like, all right, yeah, they're feeding him. All right, that's good. Like, he likes waffles. I don't know, like, how does that work? Like,
right, because the baby cowbirds like learn the cowbird calls and stuff, and end up congregating with other cowbirds. Like, they don't lose their cowbird identity.
What other
and
birds do
become,
this?
Like, vireos. It's wild.
It really
Like-
is.
Doesn't like a cuckoo or
Yeah, cuckoos do it too.
yeah.
Okay. That is.
Yeah.
And it doesn't set off any alarms. Like, you don't. Okay, all right, yeah. Okay, cool.
You don't look like me. Okay.
Yeah.
Just
right.
eat your food. Leave your brother
Right,
alone.
it's like the story of the ugly duckling that we all grew up with.
Yeah,
Yes.
that is interesting. All right. And anything else you've been playing as of late?
That's most of it. I've been playing a lot of Innovation on Board Game Arena, which is like a really old
I haven't played
card
that.
game
Do
by,
tell.
Who's it by? I'm gonna blank. I have to look it up.
I'm picturing like
That's
large
right.
colored pieces. I know
That's
that's like a very
cards.
general thing.
It's cards. It's a like extremely swingy engine
Carl-
filter.
Carl Cuddick.
There you go.
Let's
Thank
say
you.
I'm pronouncing that right.
Yeah, he's the same guy that did Glory to Rome.
That is
Okay.
exactly what Google said.
Yep.
So-
Google knows best.
Yeah, it is a game that I played it a couple times because a friend of mine had played it, mentioned that it was on Board Game Arena, and then I got really mad that I was bad at it because I was really, really bad at it. And there are people on there that like they're really, really good at it. And so then I kept playing, and now I got addicted to it.
Okay.
Innovation. And Tiny, you can get Illusion at Amazon for $11. I'm just saying.
Oh, yeah.
I could. I mean, and it will go
That
in
is
the
a
closet.
very different game.
That will go in the closet with all the other board games. Again.
Anyway, that's enough for me.
Tiny has
That's
taken on the role of the board game curmudgeon, I guess. The board game villain. Is that-
It's not that, there's nothing wrong with board game.
Oh, I know.
I feel like I burned out on them as a teenager at board games and like tabletop games and whatnot. I did my time and now
You did your time. That's how you equated.
I
did
would
my
like
time.
something else to do the math for me. Generally video games.
Understood.
So
So it's sort of my goal to sort of just find something that will sink his claws into him.
I keep telling you, I keep looking at Warhammer 40K. Like I should go back and play that and spend $1,000 on his army, and that sounds like a terrible idea.
Or you spend $1,000 and have a shelf full of things.
Again,
Right.
Variety.
you come over here and look at the board games and ask, hey, can I take it? And generally my answer is yes, because otherwise it's just
I
going
should
to
have taken
sit in
that DC
closet.
deck builder. I do regret that.
I was gonna say, like, or the Gears of War game or the multiple Star Wars games that are up there.
I don't know if I can play Gears of War with the kids. I don't know how that goes.
I don't know why I
Honey, your
paid for that
decapitation card. Okay.
that Batman board game, mostly because it was the Batman animated series. But like, it's gonna come in, and I'm gonna be like, "That's very cool." In the
Shelf.
closet it goes. So anyway, hey, again, I grew up playing these.
So Elizabeth, full disclosure, I may or may not have spent a lot of money on board games in 2019. It was asked to slow down a bit, so I spaced
Fair.
the purchases out.
Fair. Yeah.
Let's put it this way: 2 years ago, Aaron would not have been talking about board games on this show.
Really?
2.5 years ago, maybe, like roughly.
Yeah,
And
something
this
like that. Yeah.
This is the same
So
time.
last year was your year that we have all had. That's like you get bit by the bug and you gotta buy the games.
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
So,
And now I review them. So
he reviews them. When we do a game charity event, and he's like, "Hey, I need a couple hours so that we can play board games during it," and we resisted as long as we could. But they played Jaws, for example, last year.
Yep.
And
Have you
no
played
one
Jaws
seems to
from
like it.
Ravensburger?
I haven't played Jaws. No.
It's fun.
Heard
It's
good
just
things.
it feels like if you let Jaws do too much in the first round, you almost can't
There's
really
no
catch
hope.
up.
Yeah.
Jaws is it's chance. It's Jaws is pretty formidable. It's Jaws.
I guess
It's Jaws.
Jaws.
it would not really be thematic to have Jaws not be formidable.
I
I yell at Jaws and we win. Really?
This is weird that we happen to be talking about this because Jaws happens to be on TV. I think it's on HBO right now.
Which one? The first one?
The first one. The very first Jaws.
Not the fourth one with Michael Caine?
I've been wanting to go back and watch Jaws.
Don't watch it in HD because the shark does not hold up that well.
Yeah.
Like you're like, oh, huh. Like I don't remember styrofoam coming out of it when Quinn stabbed it. I didn't remember Quinn stabbing it with the machete when he's getting eaten, but he does. And it's just
I thought he just got eaten.
100%. He has that machete that he broke the line with earlier. Mm-hmm. And he stabs it into essentially Jaws' cheek, I guess.
Sharks do have cheeks.
Huh.
That's one thing I know.
That's like packing peanuts coming out. Weird.
Funny how that works.
Again, that movie's so much better if you don't see the shark. But anyway. That movie's good.
Right.
Anyway.
Well, let me run through these games real fast. I know your time is...
I was going to say, short. Do we want to be respectful of time?
Yes.
So.
Yeah. I have too much on this outline, but yeah, I'll be good. Okay. So I did a demo for a game called Dirty Money 2 days ago, Monday. I don't know. It's the days of the week all kind of blur together. Set collection game where what can I compare it to? I had a good comparison in my head now that just left me. Set collection game where you are acquiring different types of currency, like U.S. currency, euros, the yen, cryptocurrency, etc. And you can use that money to buy different locations you can only use the yen in Japan. You can only use US dollars, cryptocurrency is wild. You can use it anywhere. And the designer was saying that the game, like the origins were about, I think he's from Singapore. And he was saying that there's a lot of money laundering going on. He's like, the game was sort of like not a PSA, but like sort of like to educate people on the dangers of laundering money. So it was interesting. So
did you feel like you understood the dangers of laundering money after playing?
I lost, so maybe I came in last, so maybe that was like my punishment.
Do you feel like you don't understand the law or the dangers of laundering money before the game? Because I think we need to have a discussion.
How do I answer that? With a question. Is the question. Okay. These are all fair questions. I don't know. It was fun. But yeah, I think he was just like, it wasn't the game is like beating you over the head about laundering money is bad. Well, it kind of, in a way, because there's audit cards. And there's a lot of them. So pretty regularly, audit card will come out, or an inspection card, and whoever had the most dirty money had to give it up. So you kind of, that's the thing. It kind of incentivizes you to get that dirty money and spend it as quickly as possible. So
it's like a Brewster's Fortune kind of deal.
There you go. Well, Brewster's Millions, but yes.
Brewster's Millions. Sorry.
When he bought that stamp, that was genius, by the way. You ever play or heard of a game called Into Deep? Sort of a cyberpunk kind of theme going on, and worker placement. I think it was on Kickstarter a couple months ago. You are basically like tapping into the brain of, you're like an inspector or whatever, tapping into the brain of someone doing illegal things, but sort of getting them to do what you need them to do. And you get victory points by, you tap into the jumper. The jumper can move around really quickly. So you like jack into their brain, and you make sure that they're holding an electronic device in an area that's adjacent to where a sentry bot is or whatever, and you get points. It was fun. It's one of those games you look at, you're like, there's so much here. But it was fun. It's a lot of fun. One thing I forgot to put on the list, actually. I don't know if you know those guys from Talon Strike Studios. You ever play Vinyl? If you ever play Vinyl or... Anyway.
Yeah.
So they're publishing one called Salondeparis, where you are trying to put up art in a museum, and you have assistants, and very fun worker placement game. Had a lot of fun with that one. Of course, I'm learning, so they've already played it. I mean, I lost, which I expected to, but my score was not competitive, but also not horrible. So I'll take it. Take those victories where you can.
My score was not competitive, but also not competitive.
Yeah. that double negative. Not competitive. So that means competitive. What else? My cousin did stop by. We played some games. Exchange. She did. You ever play Exchange from Games by Bicycle?
I don't know. I haven't played it.
It's basically like you have a ledger. You're investing in insurance, bonds, and banks. And everybody's kind of having their way with the market to kind of influence it. But then there's always market influence cards that can dictate where things end up in terms of value per stock. Mm-hmm. So she went almost bust like the 4th round. There's 5 rounds in the game. We're tallying up our score at the end. I'm thinking, I got $1,700. I won. She's like, I have $2,200. I'm just like, how did you just went bust? What is this? So, but it's fine. I get used to losing. So, patchworkdoodle. Taught everybody to play that one. Of course, I lost in that. I'm still licking my wounds to my wife beating me in azulsummerpavilion.
I've really been enjoying Summer Pavilion.
I have to pull out the original just to make sure, like, because I like the original a lot, but I like Summer Pavilion so much more. Yeah. I sometimes play the original just to make sure, like, it's still good, but it's not Summer Pavilion good. It's just yeah. So of course I taught the 10-year-old because she was up really early for school. Her school starts at like 9:30, so she's up at like 7:30, whatever. I don't know why. So I'm like, well, she's eating breakfast. So I'm like, why don't we play this game real quick? Well, she said, Daddy, can we play? I'm like, sure, let's play. Teach her how to play. Of course, she wins. So it's just
good for her.
Yeah, I was like, you know what? That's good.
Yeah.
I'm watching her get all the
something right.
Yeah, I guess I teach well. I don't know. So also taught her how to play Studies in Sorcery. It goes by, that's coming out from Weird Giraffe. It was originally called Degrees in Darkness. But Carla just kind of, she's like, we're going to move away from something else. She pivoted the name, and now it's Studies in Sorcery. So, of course, I taught that one, lost by a point. Yeah, story of my life. Unstable Unicorns. Have you played Unstable Unicorns?
I haven't.
It is so unfair. Like, this is a game. The whole point is you want to get 7 unicorns in your stable in front of you. You start off with 1 baby unicorn. You draw your 5 cards. Your turn is either drawing a card, playing a card, or instead of playing a card, you can draw another card. But there's cards that can stop people from doing anything. You can add downgrades to your opponents, upgrades to yourself. Every time I play, I find another card that just, I don't want to say breaks the game, but it breaks the game. It's almost like, imagine somebody playing a game and giving you a card that says, you're going to limp along, almost about to win, until I inevitably win. That is what these cards feel like. And it's just, like it's unfairness is fair, but when it's happening to you, it just feels extra unfair. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, so and then Lost Cities Rivals. That was one that I really like. Lost Cities. That's a really good 2-player game. But Rivals is a 4-player game where it takes away the mechanic where if you go on the expedition, you know how you go on an expedition, you basically accrue $20 of debt or 20 points of debt. This kind of gets rid of that. This is basically all focused on the auction. Like you're auctioning off to win sets of cards. Getting the ones you want, hopefully throwing away at least, well, no more than one of what somebody else might want. So it's all based on an auction. Different than the original. Not quite as good. The tension isn't quite there as much as the original game.
Yeah, that negative 20 points for starting a set is like, that's such a delicious.
Yeah, and when you look at the deck, you're like, well, we're like almost 3/4 of the way through. Should I start green?
Right,
and
exactly.
So this has some of that, but because you don't, basically there's 2 of every card from 2 to 5, and then 6 through 10 there's just 1. But 6 through 10 have 2 footprints on them. The points are the footprints on the cards. So the wagers work the same way, where you get 1 at doubles, 2 at triples, 4 quadruples. So that all works the same way. But now you're all just bidding on. So it's like, do I spend all my money, almost everything I have, to get this set of cards? And it's fun. I like it, but it is a little bit different. And then I play a little bit of Sprawlopolis, which I'm not good at, but I like it. Yeah. And then they have a Kickstarter coming out for Agropolis, I believe.
Oh,
So
I'll have to check that out.
that's coming out soon. So those are the analog games I played. I will shut my mouth and I'll let the digital stuff go because I don't. So you'll be here all night unless you got like another 8 minutes. I can sneak some of these in. You ever play Squire for Hire?
I haven't.
Another game, small pocket-sized game, where you are a squire. There's like I think there's like a choice of like 6 or 7, and they all can earn different points based on objects in your bag. So you like cards either have encounters on one side or they have a mixture of it's a grid with a mixture of items like junk or weapons or magic items or potions or treasure. And you're trying to cover up different parts of the card to keep the things that you want and cover up the things that you don't. Like cover up the junk so you don't lose points for it. But when you have an encounter, it's like there's a troll under this bridge. To get by them, you have to give them gold. So you basically have to look at your bag, which is your layout of cards, and cover up the gold, which is the equivalent of giving it up to them. But you don't want to cover up the potion because your character wants potion. But you're okay covering up the gold and junk because you're accomplishing the goal and also getting rid of things that take away points. It's very pocket sized. Anyway, the app just came out. It is an actual physical version, but the app just I think it's out on iOS. I think the Android version I have is the beta, but it's pretty cool. It's pretty fun. And I'll be quiet and.
That's a lot of board games, Tiny. Sorry.
It is okay.
Don't apologize to him. Don't apologize to him.
This is a short list for Aaron, so that's
I know,
fine.
right?
Okay.
This is a short, and that's again. I mean, granted, I play the heel with Aaron to board games. Board games are fine. They're just not my thing. It's okay. So,
but I keep stressing that they could be.
They could be, and 100% they were for a very long time.
You said were.
So, I'm good. Like, Games Workshop has a lot of the money I earned as a teenager.
Just one more thing, Elizabeth. Do you have to get ready to go, or are you good?
Yeah, we want to be respectful of time. So.
Yeah, no, I should probably get going pretty soon.
I mean, do you want to? We can do wrap up for you, and then, I mean, I'm just going to talk about Tony Hawk and Resistance. So
you skateboard too, right?
Like, I mean, I got to play Tony Hawk for a day and a half, and then my nephew started playing it and really liked it, so I gave up my brand new copy of Tony Hawk.
Oh.
So now
I'm
going to go buy another copy of Tony Hawk. So, but yeah, that game's great. Like, man, it is a 20-year blast from the past.
Same soundtrack?
Yes, they relicense all the songs, plus they have a whole new soundtrack as well, so you can have both. And I mean, Tony Hawk was a huge influence on the games industry and like the speed at which that game plays at, and how quickly you can restart a game, because that's important. Like after you fall on your face, and like these things, they did a remake of Tony Hawk originally on the 360 and PlayStation 3 called Tony Hawk HD, and that game did not, let's say, gather or collect the spirit that this one seems to have.
That's a nice way of putting it.
Accurately portrayed. But this game is also a $40 game. That game was a $10 game when they did the remake originally. So maybe a little bit of different of a budget there. So
no
yeah.
excuses,
So I mean,
Tony, no excuses.
Again, yes, I know, corporate apologist. That's me. So aside from that, I started playing Resistance 3 again real quick on PS3. I don't know. It's a game I was thinking about, so I was like, hey, let me break it out. It broke 3 PS3s in my house. Yes, it's weird that I have 3 PS3s. That's a different discussion.
I only have 2. So, Elizabeth, how many PS3s do you have in your house?
So
all right. So we have 3, 2. Yeah.
They're not. They were given to me to use.
Sure.
Like, I've been repairing and updating and whatnot, and then sending out to friends of families and whatnot that don't have, like, their kids are stuck at home. Hey, like, even my sister let me send a Wii U down to my 6-year-old nephew and 3-year-old nephew, which she kept swearing they would not play video games. So, but like, they're stuck.
Give them
inside.
the opportunity to.
Exactly, they're stuck inside, like, because of all this stuff that's going on. So, like, hey, that is why I have PS3s. I didn't buy them all. Thank you, Aaron. One
for every room.
They've been given to me. So I've started playing. Broke 3 different. I still can't figure out. It seems to be some kind of corruption issue, and no one's going to support this game. It came out in 2011. So I'm trying to play with but I'm figuring it out. Like I've been pulling the hard drives out to run diagnostics to see like, hey, what's going on here? So at some point I'll get it to work because I have nothing but free time.
You see in the chat that Hard Rockin' Guy said he's hoping for a Kelly Slater Pro Surfer remake.
Man, you're just talking about stuff that came out my freshman year of college, and like we played a lot of Kelly Slater stuff.
He didn't commit suicide, did he? Was that that was Matt Mira who did? Who did?
That was I have no idea.
Okay.
I know.
Oh, Dave Mira. Sorry, I almost said
Mira.
Dave Mira. Yeah.
Yeah. One of the
BMX. He was the bike game.
He also had a bike game. So, but
dang.
But yeah, don't know how to come back from that one. So I'm gonna say I'm done with my games. So I mean, just to go through news real quick. Hey, Xbox had a real good week. They announced they're coming out with 2 new consoles. Here's the price: $299 and $499 for the S and the X. And hey, if you want to pay in installments, $25 or $35 for 24 months. And that pays for the console, Xbox Live, and Game Pass, which if you were to price them out individually, cost about the exact same. I think it's like $3 less expensive if you were to go via the payment plan versus paying for them individually.
That's a pretty good deal. I was just thinking, Elizabeth, maybe you know. Is there a subscription service that would just randomly like ship you board and card games? Does that exist?
I don't know if it's still going. I used to see ads for one called Board Game Bento, I think.
Okay.
And there have been.
It sounds like there would have been.
I don't know what has happened to them, whether they're still going, but people have tried to do that. I mean, the price point for board games is higher, is the problem.
A blind buy. I think it's still, the site is up. I don't know.
Yeah.
It says $50 per delivery. The shipping is real. I mean, that's
that seems like it'd be your bigger challenge is like shipping and like bulk shipping.
Yeah, that's
right because they're heavy.
And it's all, and then people getting it and like, hey, I don't have everyone has space for a CD or a DVD. Maybe I don't have space for Arkham Horror or Twilight Imperium or whatever you're getting. So. Yeah.
So I think I feel like there was one other one. I feel like you would get maybe one big box, but a lot of them were littler games, physically smaller.
Which is fine. It depends on what you value, I guess. But that's a lot of those things where I remember I did what was the one I did?
I feel like I've seen things about people trying to get things going that are more like a lending library. Or a subscription, but then you send it on to the next person kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
With an option to keep it if you
I
pay for it?
Exactly.
Because if I really like the game, I don't want to,
Right.
Oh,
but there's a lot of games that I don't want to spend the $60 on if I don't think I'm
going to play it.
I want to know. True. I want to play it first.
So that brings us back to TTS. Maybe. Well, you know what? But Board Game Arena is good because it's the automation is pretty good. So yeah, so you don't have to remember. But Board Game Arena is interesting because I remember I played with a friend of the show, Book of Nerds. He was teaching me how to play Teotihuacan on BGA. That's a very busy game. And I had a hard time really seeing
on a screen. Yeah.
I think we moved over to TTS just because you can't really zoom in. So I was just like, I can't see what my options are, all 90 of them. So, yeah. But I mean, like I said, the automation is cool. So,
gotcha.
Hard
Rockin' Guy mentioned $300 for the Xbox Series S. I don't think anyone expected that.
That's a really good competitive price.
It's an interesting price, especially when you consider that both Xboxes have the same processor. You're literally just looking at a different of storage and addressable RAM and graphics, like the number of CUDA cores for how graphics are rendered. But the X is only looking to target 1440p, which is fine for everyone who owns a 1080p TV, like, and doesn't care about 4K, which seems to be a large majority of the market, even though you can only buy 4K TVs anymore.
But I don't own a 4K TV yet. But the next one I do will be 4K. So I would still lean towards the other one just because.
Okay, you are always going to get an Xbox One X. It has a disk drive. You own a bunch of discs. The other one does not have a disk drive.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I don't like putting a disc into the system. I'm lazy. I've been spoiled.
Understood. That's why you have children. Like, put the disc in.
You're not lying. I
am 100%.
Before you go upstairs, could you press the button on the thing and put the... Thank you.
So,
I cooked dinner for you tonight. So.
Two more things to mention real quick. Ubisoft did their second Ubi Forward, which is like a preview of their games coming out. Some cool stuff got shown, like Prince of Persia remake.
Scott Pilgrim's coming back.
Scott Pilgrim versus the World, the complete edition is coming back.
No Rayman. I want a Rayman.
But they also put out their commitment to. So there have been people have started recognizing issues and harassers inside of that company, and they've made their commitment to improve. And here's what the changes they're making. But they couldn't play that video on their stream today because of time constraints, except for they defined the time. So. I don't understand.
Disingenuous. That's what it sounds like.
We're
committed to saying that we're committed.
Like it's not like they were on TV. They didn't have to meet a runtime. So like, oh, sorry, we can't make it because of time constraints. Like, bro, you defined the time. Like, you said this would be an hour long. Say it's going to be an hour and 10 minutes. And
if it was important to you to do that, in front of everyone, you do it. Yeah.
So, So they still are just handling this all very poorly. They need to improve.
I reckon I mentioned No Splinter Cell, which is not a surprise. So,
well, no Splinter Cell, but Sam Fisher is going to be in another game, so he's just never getting his own game again, and that's fine. The last thing, RoboCop's getting a prequel series, which won't include RoboCop, which just makes me wonder if that's a Law and Order series at that point.
Like, I don't know what.
Like, if it's before RoboCop, like Cop.
Remember I laughed at you.
What is this discussion?
It'll call the show Murph. It's just Murph.
Like,
it's
is
like
it
Gotham.
the events that led to the creation of RoboCop kind of thing, or is it?
It's like an OCP thing, I guess. They just gonna
it's about the company that made RoboCop, which, like, is it like The Office? Like, is it hilarity ensues at OCP before they make the robot?
Okay,
cop?
hold on. I should brought it up. Elizabeth, are you a fan of The Office?
I never. No.
You're on Tiny side. No.
No.
There is no sides. I just haven't watched The Office. Like, let it go.
I can't.
I've watched several episodes and it just never sucked me in.
Exact same.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I've watched that. I've watched the same number of Office episodes as I have Grey's Anatomy, and it's 2. And John Cusack didn't die in both of them, unlike in Grey's Anatomy.
Okay.
There's a weird John Cusack gets blown up by I think like they bring in 2 Civil War reenactors that somehow they had a mortar that didn't go off. So like they take it out of the guy, save the guy, but then the mortar goes off while they're trying to get it to the disposal unit. It's so weird.
Oh, no.
Only episode of Grey's Anatomy I could ever tell you about. But John Cusack is in that episode. That's all I know about Grey's Anatomy. Anyway, so we're just talking about again Cop. That's just what that series would be like. Hi. Anyway, we should close out because this is just.
I did want to just make sure I recognize that Justin mentioned Goozex 2.0. We're talking about the trading services. Many years ago, Elizabeth, there's a service called Goozex where you could trade games like video games and earn points, movies and stuff too, and you can earn points and value for other trades, and we did it quite a bit. We knew the guy who actually had the most trades ever. He did like thousands of trades on this thing. So anyway, so that Goozex was a thing.
History, but yes, I see Justin in the chat as well as Hard Rockin' Guy. I will say his last comment. I have an idea. Hear me out. Police Academy crossover with RoboCop prequel show, the ultimate TV cop show.
It's almost
anyway.
like if somebody like you watched that Gotham show, right? I never saw it.
No, I didn't watch Gotham because Gotham was just Smallville for Batman.
But at least Smallville had Clark in it.
Yes, like he had Clark, but he doesn't become Superman because he was not allowed to fly in that TV show.
Why?
Like it's stupid. There's a whole thing, but yeah, Gotham is Catwoman, Batman knew each other as kids, and everyone else is like it's teenager Penguin, and what like
smoking a cigarette with a little thing in it with a monocle, like
all
teenagers
do.
Here comes my little toy penguins, huh? Like no, anyway, a lot of superhero shows are bad. I watch them all, or most of them at least, but they're very bad.
Yeah, I'm good.
Anyway, we should
y'all are not convincing me.
Are you sure?
Watch any superheroes?
I mean,
The Office is so funny though. Just watch The Office. Trust me, you'll love it eventually.
Honestly, there's no reason to watch superhero TV shows. like there are some fun ones, and I watch them because I'm a complete dork and I already know all this stuff. But like,
we didn't want to say anything, but
who didn't know, like, why would you watch this and be like, oh, anyway. Anyway, Aaron, we really should wrap this up.
Yeah. So, Elizabeth, anything, shout outs, plugs, anything you want to say just on our way out?
I guess I'll just say again, my game Mariposas just came out. It's very exciting.
Yes.
Yes, congratulations.
Yeah.
Put it on your list like me, and yeah, I should just grab it today. I like butterflies. My mom likes it. I should get it from my mom. She likes butterflies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
And I'll just say, I happened to hit 2 when I bought it. I don't know. Yes, they got shipped to 2 different addresses. It is a coincidence. I promise you. Why are you walking away? Anyway, yes. And I'll have all your information and stuff in the show notes so folks can find out about your games and your website, all that good stuff. So
fantastic.
Well, thank you for joining us. We do appreciate your time, and I know we went a little bit over time. We appreciate that as well.
Thanks for having me.
Chatting it with you, chatting up with you. That's been always good.
Yeah.
Shout out to the listeners, folks in the chat. Thank you for chiming in. Let us know that you're out there. We appreciate that. If you want to leave us any feedback, you can always do so at our Twitter accounts, which you can just find those if you go to the @GameEnthus Twitter. You'll see myself, Tiny's, and Mike's there. And you want to email us at podcast@GameEnthus.com. If you want to leave us a voicemail, which I haven't gotten a voicemail in quite some time. Keon, looking at you. No, I'm kidding. 202-573-7686. And Tiny, how about you?
Hey, you can't believe it's already September 10th. Have you signed up for your Extra Life page so you can raise money for your local Children's Miracle Network hospital by playing games? Board games, video games, card games?
Mind games?
I guess. I mean, if you're stuck at home with your family, so I guess you could start playing mind games.
Yes, we're out of milk.
They all count. And 100% of what you raise goes to the local Children's Miracle Network hospital you choose. 170 of them across Canada and the U.S. So, and if you can't take part, so if you can't go to extra-life.org and sign up, you can also go to extra-life.org/team/GameEnthus2020. Donate to your favorite GameEnthus personality. Me. I'm raising for Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. It just happens to be the oldest children's hospital in the nation. Just throwing that out there.
Johns Hopkins in Baltimore.
Yeah, and, as well as Aaron, and both Mike and Aaron are raising for Johns Hopkins in Baltimore. And our team is raising for hospitals all over the country. So yeah, go to extra-life.org/team/GameEnthus2020 and donate there. And we are trying to figure out what our 24 hours of gaming is going to look like this year, now that everyone can't come to my house. So,
well, with the digital version of Wingspan coming out,
that's
there's an obvious choice.
And
she would know. She made it.
Totally impartial. So I mean, hey, there are a lot of things to throw around. I've been looking at ways that we can play classic games, multiplayer wise, via the internet. So yeah. And if you have suggestions for whatnot, hit us up on Twitter or at the email and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And with that, Oh, actually, one more thing. I don't know if this is going to be up in that time. Probably not. But we are running, Children's Hospital Philadelphia is also running a tournament with the 76ers and Nerd Street Gaming. It is
Nerd Street?
Yeah, Nerd Street. Or it was North 3rd and 3RD. Anyway, they're running an NBA 2K tournament this weekend. Weirdly, it runs Sunday and Monday. So it's the 13th and 14th. 3 p.m. to 10 p.m. is game time. You could win $1,500 because there's only like 12 people signed up for it so far.
How
so,
did
like,
they
you got
miss the weekend?
Good
like
chance.
That? Like Saturday, Sunday.
I had a lot of questions.
Tuesday through Thursday.
So I had a lot of questions.
During the day.
But yeah, so if you go to chop.edu/NBA, you can check that out. And like I said, if you're playing NBA 2K on PlayStation 4, because that's the system of choice, there, last time I checked, like I said, like 12 people signed up. It's a 3-on-3 tournament. So
aren't there 12 people on a basketball team?
Well, it's 3-on-3. So like
it's thematic.
1/4 of that tournament right now is gonna win $1,500.
You could be part of that fourth.
So yeah, and all proceeds go to Children's Hospital Philadelphia. So yeah, go check that out. Chop.edu/NBA.
So. Oh, and if Mike was here, he would say, have your dog spayed or neutered by a professional and donate blood, because there is certainly a need.
Yes.
So, all right. And we've run our miles enough. Elizabeth, thank you once again. It has been a pleasure having you on. We'd love to have you back on to tell us what you're up to, games you played, and probably won. Are you taking a break from designing now? You're working on Wingspan expansions. You just released Mariposas. Are you going to take like a...
Yeah, I have one game that's sort of in development with another publisher that I had gotten to them before the pandemic. I have not started anything new. I've been working on another Wingspan expansion, like I said, but yeah, I don't have anything new right now.
I've done nothing at all, so I'm impressed.
Yeah.
Yeah, Wingspan is certainly definitely has an audience that many other hobbyist games do not, which is... I'm sure that was your intention. Like, you did a really good job of getting something out there that definitely speaks to one market, but then it speaks to a whole other market of people who
may not be gamers,
might not be hobbyist gamers at all.
It's broken out of the gaming world for sure.
So people trying to pick your brain. Elizabeth, how can I take castles and have the same success? And you look at them and go, you can't.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. What about this sword? What did I just say? Okay. Yeah. So anyway, that's gonna do it for us. Any final words before we get out of here?
No, thanks so much for having me.
It's been a pleasure.
Yes, thank you for joining.
Thank you, folks, for watching. Everybody, have a good night.